Straight out of 4chan, I'm getting news that Asian Aryanism has been spreading on the political thread of 4chan, thanks to some anonymous users, and as well some crazy kook on Reddit too. And so I thought maybe I would answer all these comments found on the 4chan thread for Asian Aryanism, which is now closed. I screen capped a bunch of pictures and tried to possibly answer every question of a concerning answer to Asian Aryanism. And no, this isn't. I'm not trolling. This seems to be something I believe in and ideologically want to establish. I'm happy that people are being exposed to this, and unfortunately, there's been some downvotes on the Asian Aryan video, but it's spiked up to 3,000 views. And hopefully, I hope you all subscribe to my channel so I can talk more about the subject of Asian Aryanism, which I can describe of you living out a life like in Wes Anderson film at the same time having an Asian girlfriend. So let's begin with the very first comment. It says, the cringiest alt-right thing ever, Asian Aryanism. I actually cringed when I saw this, and I'm alt-right. This is the most embarrassing piece of shit I've ever seen anywhere, and it came straight from 4chan. And here we have is a fat guy with a katana and a neckbeard. First, I said before that Asian Aryanism does not accept fat people because we are kind of like, not we, but like, think of Identity Europa, those handsome like white men with Nathan DeMago, and like, you look strong like that. You want role models, not these. I'm all about self-improvement, and if you are fat and you are part of Asian Aryanism, I'm not fat shaming you, but I'm just saying, just make sure to look good, and you're not this thing, so they can make fun of you, make silly pictures like that. And here we have a guy that says, I like it. Well, good for you. This has to be the best comment in the thread. It says, the best part of all this alt-right shit popping up is how much perspective you have being nearly 30 years old and browsing 4chan since 2006. Yeah, I'm a white male with an Asian wife. Honestly, it is the far best option for a white man in the current year. Don't believe the dumb alt-right teenagers trying to dissuade you against dating Asian women. You go, sir. That is the best comment and what I'm trying to say. You know, the whole Aryan thing is just some, as Harlan Bennett said, a whimsical joke. It doesn't really mean neo-Nazis with Asian girlfriends. It really means something of a joke referring to the current time this year, that white feminists are so bitchy that you can't even date white girls, so the next best option is Asian women. And it's great and fantastic, and I'm glad that you're saying that. That's something people need to know about, and it's something I'm happy, and it makes me going with this. So here's some other comments. Why would the left tell us not to hypersexualize Asian women if they were what they wanted? And then this guy says, original Japs were Aryan. They mixed with gooks. It's why base nips are superior to the rest of Asians and why Hitler loved them. Okay, for the first one, yeah, that's the first comment about hypersexualized. Yeah, that is a folly of the left. I do think that is so mentally ill that the left says go ahead and be multicultural, marry what you want. But in a multicultural society, white men always choose Asian wives. And yet, you can't hypersexualize because they're socially individual. That just shows you how white the left really is and how white. And you should just ignore that and just be like open. And if you're open about it, well, I would consider myself alt left is because that's what, about a freedom for that. So ignore this, call them out on it. Notice they're just whites doing white people things. So, and as for the Japs and Aryan, yeah, I know there's some, but I'm not for the bottom one with Hitler. That's interesting history, but it's not really what I'm talking about or about any traditional. I'm talking about the now. People seem to think of this as some kind of huge racial connection to the past or something like that. I mean, I'm not really. It's interesting history, but yeah, I mean, I guess you can take pride in that. But here's more comments. After a lifetime wasted chasing tall blondes, turns out my Korean-born wife is the best female I've ever known. Western-born women of any color are warped and entitled. Good going, sir. That's exactly right. especially a Korean life, you're pretty lucky to have that. That's so amazing, great, awesome. Um, Caring about what 18-year-old edgy social outcasts say about your personal life. You did well. Ignore the haters. Loneliness and anger makes people lash out towards others. Yeah. Sexless, bitter teen. Race traitor who will be hanged on rope day. Okay, well, you guys are just a bunch of alt-right William Pierce lunatics. I mean, you probably are just trolling about this. And as for the sexless, bitter teen, well, most teenagers are sexless, and the joy of life is having sex with your wife. I mean, I'm coming from a Christian background, so it's most likely that will happen if you follow the traditional sense. I mean, sex comes later once you're rewarded in life, and it's. I also understand too that yeah, if you are promiscuous, most likely Asian women will approach you first before Asian white girls. So if you want to have promiscuous sex, make sure it's with Asians. Though I don't have it. Well. Um, this has to be a fucking parody to bait an entire nation of Elliot Rogers. There would be mass shootings every day. Well, it may be a parody that I'm joking with the term Asian Aryanism, but I'm quite serious about the whole white male, Asian male, white female thing. So, and a part of that culture, I'm just advocating for that. I mean, you can find it funny whether way. I'm serious. Um, a guy wants to make a nation out of white male, Asian female couples and all kind of happas. Well, it's going to be possible if these crazy white nationalists and alt-right people on 4chan and the alt-right and they're crazy wanting an ethno state out in the middle of nowhere, then other races should retaliate and get their own nations too. And so, not to play identity politics like everything, I really do believe in harmony within a multicultural society, but I think there'll be so much more harmony once a third race of whites and Asians realize this, and this new post Asian American identity comes up, and I think that's what I'm really arguing for. I want to make anime real. Dropped. I do want to make anime real. So, and Asians produce anime. If you guys always talk about how Western civilization and culture and Plato and Aristotle's great, well, anime's great too. And if you want to see anime real, then just get Asian-like people in the country, and you could see a far new post-anime being made with a Happa state. Um, I'll read this negative one. You really shouldn't have gotten Asian wife, or at least a fully Asian one. If you, oh whatever, screw you. Uh, and once again, no, I'm not supporting an Ellie Roger state. I would say our idol is more like Kikyo Mishima. Mishima is very similar to Roger, but hey, look, it's not like I'm supporting that kind of violence. It's just a part of the character. Look at his other videos. He's serious. I'm a huge troll, so I know when other people are trolling. That's right, I am serious. Finns are the whitest Eurasian Aryan race. Well, if you want to be a joke about that. You seen Eurasian Writers channel? Right-wing white men plus Asian women is a little Elliot too. The evidence is pretty compelling. Yeah, it's kind of true, but look, it's all about compromising and making harmony between that, not some evil, oh, he's right wing, or it's composed of what? A left wing, beta male, cuck white male? That's silly. I studied in Japan for years and was infatuated by the questions every day. Yumiria Proto Bedouin. I don't care. Dude, you're a little creepy, worrying about passing on your own genes. I'm already immortal. Yeah, that's right. Some people are creepy when they think about that. How to poleaxe with Asian wives reconcile the fact that if we turn Western nations pro-white again, their Hapa children will have even more chance of serious identity issues and have mental issues they do now. Well, they only have mental issues is because there's no grounded identity they can relate to. I mean, if you do take in Philip Rushton's study about race, okay, there might be some mixed mash thing, but there's already too much Happas to begin with that it can be its own race on its own. And they're healthy to begin with. Most Happas have high IQ and have a good body frame and actually have benefits in white society. So I don't know what you're talking about with the whole identity issues. Yeah, it's a little, it's mixed, but look, it's going to be its own race. You can still have whites and you can still have Asians. All right. The chances of you having grandkids with only one kid are, okay, Hapa Reddit form. Well, Asian Aryanism is the opponent of Hapa Reddit, and I've been a long lurker of the Hapa Reddit, and I think it's time to put a positive message when really the Hapa Reddit is just some strange white people approved liberal cultural Marxist whatever. I don't understand it at all. I just think it's just a it's funny because it could be itself right wing, the Hapa board. So I'm actually would be arguing for quite the real right wingers have big families with real white women after they finish college. Oh yeah, like I'm finishing college too, and I'm gonna have a big white family. Um, well, I currently right now I have an Asian girlfriend who's a social justice warrior, so she's got some taint of blue hair, and I'm actually fine with that, and she's like the best woman ever, best girl ever. So you might have truth to that, but hey, look, it's not like this radical left wing thing happening at the moment. So like, that's not the general consensus of what things are. Um, Here we have a Jewish character saying that I must be some kind of Jew behind it. Um, I don't want to say that I'm Jewish, but maybe there's some half in me on my dad's side, maybe. And maybe that little 1.2% Jewish might be coming out. Maybe that's why I'm a good deconstructionist. Ignoring that. If you're going to have HAPA children, you need to forget about white nationalism, racial ideals altogether, because you're going to create a fucked up human being and send them out into white societies. Well, that's white societies, and he's not a fucked up human being. He's a normal person. Has very, I don't get. That's so mean and so cruel. I mean, there's some. Just approach a HAPA girl, and you'll probably understand how normal they are and even beautiful. Let's see, anonymous. Also, be me, Filipina girlfriend, bit chubby, supports my fetishes. I don't have money, 8'10, insecure, find confidence in me. It could happen to you. Hey, is there anything wrong with that? A chubby Filipina girlfriend? You don't have money? If that's like the only thing? And if you're insecure, what's so wrong about that? Part of it's part of religion and a part of good society is belonging. I mean, I'm gonna be lying to myself. I had a chubby Asian girlfriend before for a bit. She was super nice. I didn't smack on her because she was chubby. She's just an all-around nice personality. I don't know what you're making it like. It seems some kind of ugly, whatever. Okay. It says the alt-right are like the redheaded stepchildren politics. Nobody really cares for him. Absolutely. Haha, this sounds fucking awesome. Asian pussies, please. Absolutely. And I want that to happen under Asian Aryan ideology. And if you're okay with approaching Asian girls and Asian girls being okay with you, then just be open that you say you like Asian culture. That's really what I'm asking for. And so that's awesome. Go for it. Go for Asian pussy. Your son will likely look full Asian. I hope you don't harbor any prejudice against Asian men, Keck. Well, Asian Aryanism seems to be a synergy between that. I don't think there's going to be any prejudice. Happa's not Japan. Well, Happa's a mixed bag. If you want to fuck gooks, you should fuck off to Asia. They say that to Richard Spencer, where it's, if he's a white nationalist, why don't you go back to Europe? You know, I'm not, I'm not gonna go back to Asia anytime soon, simply because I live in America and there's already a group of people here that self-identify in Asian American roots. So I'm not going anywhere. Where are the yellow women at? Yeah, where are the yellow women at? They're in your local metropolitan major city communities that go to punk rock shows and vegan restaurants. Trust me, they're there. I'm 32, yada yada. I still worry about my children's future because of Mongols like you. They should love their. I don't care. You're on 4chan. The fact that you don't means you can't complain about. Um, you're literally pro race mixing, and there's no. You're pairing with a different. Look, I said in a video before that this is a unique white and Asian race relation thing. I jokingly referred to the thing as Negro Aryanism as if it's been tried before in America experiment and has failed and created Black Lives Matter. And so what's multiculturalism diversity really creating is this whole Asian Aryan byproduct. And so I don't like to talk about black relation because it's so controversial. Yet I am in sympathy for it. But I don't support the whole cafe au lait race mixing society where everyone can race. That's silly. Everyone has a racial identity and people need to flock to those things. And especially new racial identities, there needs to be a flocking to that too. And it's not like an exclusive thing. I mean, you just have to put standards. And if the standard, you don't like the standard, too bad. I don't like the whole race mixing multicultural society thing at all. Why don't you fucking yellow figures Levitts love Gook so fucking much? Well, there's obvious reasons for that. But Asians are based. Ugh, here we go again. They are based. Um, Submissive and self-hating. That doesn't make any. I mean, they're not. This idiot has never heard of weeaboos, so he thinks he needs to make up a word to describe this new trend. I know what weeaboos are, and weeaboos are cool people, and I think weeaboos should join Asian Aryanism, and I think Asian Aryanism is more of a mature term in a funny alt-right sense and alt-right culture, so that people, instead of jokingly refer to themselves as Wapanese, they can be proud of something. I mean, it's like we're condemning them to have interest in Japanese culture when they should take pride in that. Like, what am I gonna say? Weebooism? It makes sense. It's a new start Asian Aryanism, and so hey, weeaboos are allowed to join. It's just a part of culture. I mean, it's pretty self evident there. Waiting, wanting to. Eh. Um, Unironically risking giving birth to either beta cuck happa manlet or socially awkward happa with daddy problem. Well, that's your problem. Um, he found himself an honest Mexican Catholic girl, real family. Yeah, that's great. Yep, that's awesome. Uh huh. Yep. So I found myself a nice Japanese girl when I was overseas, and like the tramps and whores in the USA, she's honest to a good God house. Great. Couldn't find one in the USA, but found one pretty outside the USA, happily married for 7 years, kids. She stays at home, wife. That's amazing. That's something I love to talk about too, and awesome. I'm a proud Asian Aryan Finn. Awesome. Um, no, can't say. Westerners trying to be Asian is so fucking cringy. Hey, it's called Asian Aryanism. When they do act Asian, they're going to borderline not white or Asian culture. They're going to be more into this new synergy, and that I'm okay with that. That's a part of the culture. Western Asians are literally the same thing as white women. It's a cultural problem, nothing to do with race. Okay, yeah, I should do a video on whitewashed Asian women, but they're fine with me. They're okay. In fact, they'll be more associated with Asians, and they are definitely Asian Aryan byproducts. They just have to see the light on that issue. It's not like they're dumb feminists. I mean, it's really easy to proselytize them on Asian Aryanism. Seriously, right wing whites creating happas with Asian women who have made a new generation of fucked up people? See your Asian writer's YouTube channel. The inherent racial prejudice of the father and mother that caused them to attract in the first place manifests extreme schizoid and identity issues in the habit. Oh, here we go again with the Ryan Folk statistics and whatever. And the whole borderline HAPA thing. It's as if whites want you to be like, it's this weird crypto right wing message you're supporting, as if HAPAs are mentally retarded, and as if they need this, as if they're this, you think it's left wing and it's really not. It's this strange, then okay, I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. What makes you think he has a Reddit account just because he's not against race mixing? There's nothing particularly bad about race mixing when good old fashioned American girls are few and far better. Uh, in the end, I never found another. They're endangered species. Had to snag a Japanese girl to get a good family going. Awesome. Amazing. Good for you. That's so true. And you're right. And God bless you. The only way to avoid happen mental illness is if the parents are not racist or self hating and the child is raised in a very mixed race community society. The other choice is raise them in Asia, and Asian countries consider they look like. Okay, I mean, I know some friends like that. But for the mixed race community thing, yeah, that's a pretty popular trend, but it supports that stupid cafe au lait liberal cosmopolitan identity. When in reality, what's happening is these mixed race Asians are going to hang out with other mixed race, aka Asian American. And so that's what I mean when I'm talking about Asian Aryanism. I'm not talking about happy dappy unicorns and rainbows multicultural society. No, it's this new block, and you're pretty close to that. And that's what I'm trying to argue for. This happens when you mix special snowflakes and identity politics. In no way I'm saying a special snowflakes or saying that there's an identity politics, but it's at the point where I have to be expressive that I know that I'm with a group of people and I think it needs to have exposure. Uh, um, they'll only be insane if you give them narcissistic liberal bourgeois values, and but if they do normal like Christian things or religious things, trust me, they'll be pretty normal, and they'll be more of on the Asian side and more like NHK actors. Yeah, I'll lose my kid who's love and discipline. Also, one of the issues is the type of yellow women they lust after white men, seeing that then upgrade from Asian men. Then they pop out a child that looks like Asian men, then they reject. Yukio Mishima wrote about the same thing. This is literally in Japanese literature, and I support reading Asian studies and the classics in Asian literature. There's much to be discussed on that subject. And yes, Asian males fail in the multicultural thing is because they are like little Yukio Mishimas or Elliot Rogers. But at the same time, that is a character we should be supporting and not degenerating. And Asian men need to not learn game, but like lift weights and like do masculine things and be okay with yourselves. I mean, this is something I'm coming from, so you know. Um, next one. There are expectations of this, you may be one of them, but generally the type of guys you see with Asian women are weird and will likely produce weird kids with the self-hating Asian women. All the weird happas emerging from these relationships that create the fucked up happa stereotype will also tarnish normal happa kids. Yeah, that's so true, and that's why I'm all about good body and good things. Yeah, weirdos created that, and probably there was a whole 80s generation of anime that basically ruined white America's having high expectations with Asians, and that's created Asian Aryanism and created this byproduct. Now it needs to be this healthy normative. Let the past go and just move on from there. Um, yeah, there's the silly picture. I know about it. I've been a Happa Reddit fan. I know it's about. Just read Yukio Mishima. I hope you enjoy having kids who don't even look like you and cucking your bloodline out of existence. The only reason why faggots like you race mix is because you have too much of a beta or obtain a white girl. Oh, well, what? White girl are like supposedly better than that? It's like I don't know why you find that attractive, but like I don't see where you're coming from. White Asian children are twice as likely as Asians to have mental illness. Oh great, here we go with the Ryan Folk sources again. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you like mental illnesses where white people made up psychology. So it's just like it's just like you're focusing on it too much. I want to make anime real. Great. A woman doing porn inherently implies a mental disability. I study porn, so yeah, that's true, but they're also human, so it's not like they're crazy. Hatred of your parents, self-hate, identity issues, and desires of acceptance probably count for why white male Asian female helpers are so represented in porn. Don't you find that attractive? Don't you find that extremely cute and adorable? I think half of women are like beauties. I think they're beautiful, and that's why it's great they're in porn like that. The ideal is revolting. These men just want to justify their racial fetishism. It's too bad if you got red pilled after you fell in love, but your children will never be accepted as white. If it matters to you that your bloodline remains part of the white race, you'll have to leave them and find a new wife. Not saying you should, just telling you the truth. The alt right is the most cucked ideal I've ever seen, and now this. Haha. Okay, if you talk about the white race, I mean, like, it sounds like you're a part of the alt right and you want to have like a white racial background, and you're taking like fetishism as if it's so bad, like it's some mental disease. Like, you got hit in the head with a coconut, and then you're like, oh, I have a fetish for children. I have a fetish for, like, hey, it's called preference, and like, people have things like that. And through growing up and experience, you realize that it's like that, and then idiots who don't believe you're authentic call you a fetish. I mean, hey, once you make actions, the best thing to do is be authentic and have no regrets. So I don't know where you're coming from. Here's the last comment. To be honest, not all that shocking. Most educated Asians tend to be incredibly based, and some Asians share many of our goals. All of our minorities in the US are the only ones who have given us the fewest problems. There are generally two types: the bottom tier ghetto Asians, which the top tier Asians who prefer being around. Um, it's funny is because I should do a video about the whole Asian black thing. I find I have some friends too who are and I don't think there's gonna be a Negro Asian Aryanism, but I mean the state of a Kanawa or a Kinawa or maybe some Thai, Burmese. There's some general acceptance for Africans in those countries, and so I mean they can start their own thing there. But look, what's more influential at the moment is number two, whites with Asian women and vice versa. So that's what I'm talking about, and that's what's more culturally relevant. When you have an Asian FOB couple in the US, you generally see two outcomes. They are tryhards to get their kids to integrate and come cop out losers. Um, I only know like two people who are like that, but everyone else are great, fantastic. I don't. They go full on Asian, and their kid lacks any actual cultural understanding. Hey, look, what do you want them to learn about? Plato, Aristotle? They're just good people. Our kids are being raised basically like 80 kids would be, as close as possible. No pause. Better than normal study habits, but nothing extreme. A healthy emphasis on sports. All kids learn to shoot at 5. Um, yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from, but once again, I'm serious with this whole Asian Aryan thing. If you got problems, well, I'll just make current videos on that. So that's all the Reddit, the 4chan comments I have for now. And I hope you guys are listening, subscribe to my channel right now, and I'll be willing to talk about these issues and further YouTube videos. Thanks.